Have you ever attended 11 different crafting workshops in just 5 days? Well, get in all you creativity lovers, because we're about to. At the start of this year, I decided that I wanted to focus a portion of my time, energy, and budget on attending live events within the overall maker sphere, whether sewing focused or crafting focused or general creativity focused. I did not know, because I didn't really know what events were even out there within the maker sphere. I'm always at home, crafting in chaos by myself. But I took a look around the internet and quickly discovered something called Craftcation. Ooh. And then I discovered that it's held in Ventura, California, which isn't exactly like a quick jaunt down the road for me, but it is close enough that I'm not having to hop on a plane. Kinda felt like a match made in heaven, so of course, I signed up. I have no idea what to expect from this. I had not heard of this until a few months ago, and not a single person that I've mentioned it to since then had ever heard of it either, despite it apparently being around since at least 2013, from what I could find. I've already been decently impressed by their email communication, which was thorough but not annoyingly frequent, their scheduling software, which was just unproblematic, and the range of workshops they're offering. It kinda does feel like a 5-day crafting camp for adults, which, like, yes please. But I am not affiliated with Craftcation. In fact, I'm going to be filming in my traditional guerrilla style on my phone, which I always do when I'm out in public, forever trying not to be perceived. So I'm gonna give you my thoughts on this new to me event as I have them. Jolly good. Let's go. I went into this with pretty low expectations, not for any specific reason related to Craftcation, but because that's how I pretty much go into everything. I don't like being disappointed. But y'all, I was pretty promptly impressed. Days 1 and 5 are half days, so there's only one class. I arrived a whopping 2 hours early, because of course I did, and right away started by exploring the space like the nosy creature I am. Craftcation is not held in one of those big convention centers with a giant expo floor and classes that take you 10 minutes to walk between. Instead, it's in a Marriott, where everything is pretty close together. There's plenty of seating, a beautiful courtyard outside, and a restaurant downstairs in case you get hungry. Basically, the event isn't spread out in a space too big for it, which seems to be a common pitfall of events like this nowadays. Everything was decorated so beautifully in all different sorts of crafting styles, but fitted to the theme they had chosen for the year, and there were places set up for you to craft, color, customize your tote bag, or just sit around and chill between classes. The program was well made and thorough and included a map, and there was signage everywhere, so it was really easy to find all of the classrooms and figure out where your workshops were gonna be held. Like y'all, everything just seemed really organized. No one looked stressed or worried or running behind schedule, and that's just really nice to see as a guest. Also, look at the tote bag of goodies that you get for free. It's massive! Like I said, there's no big expo floor here for shopping. Instead, there was a small room that had been designed as a pop-up shop for all of the artwork and products that the presenters of Craftcation, the ones leading the workshops, have for sale. It seemed so smart to put all of it together into one room being run by the Craftcation people themselves, so the presenters weren't having to rent out a booth space, set it up themselves, and run it between their classes. There was such a wide variety of delightful stuff too, which makes sense because the workshops, and therefore the teachers who teach the workshops, are incredibly varied. I even found a recently published book with a face you may recognize inside. Once I had finished exploring, I planted myself in a lovely little sofa area that happened to be directly across from my class location, and just sat there stitching for the remaining hour until it got started. Right away, others came to join me, and we were able to socialize very calmly and casually over our crafts. I ended up having some lovely conversations with absolutely delightful people. Then it was class time, which today was rubber stamp carving for me, something I've never tried before. We had 2 hours in the space to work on a stamp design, and I decided to go for a stack of books because I wanted to challenge myself with some little details and writing. Whew, y'all, I listened to Ray's new album for the first time on the drive out there. Cried 3 times, it was so good. Which might explain why my eyes are burning. So there was like an opening ceremony event this evening. I just decided to dip, as I don't think the kids are saying anymore. I'm trying to save up my energy for the next 4 days. So since there was a 2-hour break for dinner in between the class and the little ceremony meetup event at night, I decided to go ahead and come home, get some real good sleep, and come back tomorrow ready to craft. But I did do a little shopping before I went. It was very hard to narrow down my favorite things from that pop-up shop. So much cool stuff. But I ended up getting 2 pieces. And then I will also show you all of the stuff in this bag because I haven't actually gone through it yet. But y'all, it's like real stuff. It seems a lot more common that the stuff you get for free at events like this is kind of like cheap little plastic things that various brands have stuck their brand name on. But from a precursory glance into this bag, this is just actual like real stuff, which is really cool. Anyway, I got this little ceramic armchair, complete with a whole separate pillow. The artist is Sarah Hayden, and honestly, like, all of her pottery was delightful, but there was just something about a little chair that I loved so much. And then I also got this preserved plants arrangement. This is by Amy Perrier. I believe her company name is Bernal Burrow. She had so many really cool ones, but I loved the pewter vase that this is in. And these red flowers, I don't even know what these are, but they're so pretty. Okay, so that was the shopping that I did. Let's look at the free stuff. First thing I noticed, Chili Crunch. This is just ironically perfect because like a week ago, Matt decided he probably would like Chili Crunch and he really wants to try it, but he's not sure he's gonna like it. So then we were like, do we want to buy a whole jar just for you to discover you don't like it? Now we have 3 little jars, and he's very excited to try it. We've got a giant pack of glue sticks. I'll never run out of glue sticks again. Another snack, PB&J Trail Mix Strawberry. Hello, are you here to sniff? We have a pack of highlighters. We have a set of scissors. Yay, new scissors. Titanium. 1800 stickers for your planner. Jacquard fabric dye. We have a whiteboard marker. We have a bottle of zip dry glue. We have a packet of pearlized paper. This is gonna be weird. Uglybaby.shop. Intriguing. They're like fun postcards. Yeah, so like all of this plus the tote bag is like an actual canvas tote bag, not one of those like super thin, cheap ones. Again, I'm pretty impressed, y'all. So tomorrow starts the sort of real thing, because for the next 3 days, there are 3 workshops every day, and you bet your britches I'm going to all of them. I'm excited. I quickly discovered in the next couple days is that people had all sorts of different methods for enjoying Craftcation. Different priorities for their time here, you could say. Even in that first conversation I had, one person was excited to try all new to her crafts in her classes, while another one was planning to attend several workshops for crafting skills she already did at home. To her, this was a chance to actually sit down and do the things she loves to do without outside distractions getting in the way. I heard from other attendees that they were only taking one workshop a day because they were more interested in the socializing aspect and the casual crafting opportunities, while still others had brought their families and were treating this as a full-on vacation. Because a lot of the attendees were staying in the hotel, it was really easy for them to go back to their room for a nap, or hang out by the pool for a bit, or walk down to the beach. I was definitely in the camp of here for the classes and let's try new things. Pretty much every workshop I did was a new technique for me, and I didn't attend any of the non-craft classes like beach yoga or Zumba. To be honest, I kind of went into this 5 days with an already low social battery for unrelated reasons, so while there were a lot of fun events every night like bingo, a craft supply swap, Iron Craft, a fun competition, and a thing called Wanderings where people decorate their hotel rooms and everyone walks around to explore them, I ended up heading home after the last workshop of the day most of the time. I did stay for the DIY fashion show on Saturday, which was lots of fun, and in between classes there was plenty of downtime to sit and chat or work on projects. I got a good chunk of stitching done on my freeform flamingo piece. Look, it's getting all filled in! I also had the opportunity to meet the lovely author of this book, Annie, in person for the first time. We'd only talked in emails so far. This is not sponsored, but I just have to take a moment to show you their incredible work. This book is so good. And yes, I am in it, along with several other faces that you may recognize, so you know, all the more special. I'm in a book! But seriously, Annie put so much skill and effort into this encyclopedia fabric. It is so detailed, and as someone who is not exactly great at remembering fabric names and differences, and how to use them and what they're for and everything, I'm really excited to pore over it slowly and put all that new info to use. It's available wherever you can buy books, but I did put a link in the description if you want to go get yourself a copy. Do it, it's a really good book. I mean, y'all, the amount of information in here, the amount of time that went into this. Seriously, it's really good. Okay, back to Craftcation. Like I said before, they have a really varied selection of workshops, which I'm sure change every single year so that returning attendees always have something new to try. Some people had been coming for 12 years. I think that's all the years it's been in existence, but also, I'm bad at math. There were specifically blocks of sewing workshops and dyeing workshops, along with all sorts of embroidery, crochet, printing, jewelry making. I can't even remember, there were so many crafts. They also have a selection of business-themed courses for creatives, which is great for those who are hoping to move in that direction and need some guidance. I do find it interesting personally that every time I've seen a collection of creative business courses, they'll have like every form of content creation except YouTube. Instagram, Substack, email lists, websites, podcasts. It's like no one wants to touch the YouTube topic, which in all fairness, it is a lot for a 2-hour workshop. But in case you didn't catch all that footage, in the course of the 5 days, I tried rubber stamp carving, modern calligraphy, Lego block printing, Slavic needlework, textile block printing, ice dyeing, homemade earth-based watercolors, creating color palettes, natural dyeing with onion skins, chemical etching on slate, mini bookmaking. I'd say the calligraphy class was my favorite. I really feel like I got the basics down and could carry on expanding that skill at home now. I also really enjoyed the onion peel dyeing. It was super simple, but it's just something that I've been putting off trying at home because of the martenting process, which the lovely teacher had done for us here. The color palette class was also a blast. We put together random items from a big table to make various color palettes, photographed them, and then translated those into pastels or watercolors or colored pencil. I ended up getting the teacher's book, cause oh my goodness, it's so beautiful and inspiring. Also, y'all know, I love me some color. Now, I do want to point out that Craftcation is not exactly cheap. In fact, when I first saw the price, I balked and almost backed out. But to be fair, this is not the same kind of event as, say, So Expo, where you could get a day ticket for $17. While some events feel very much like shopping is the main priority and the classes are there to sort of support that and give people extra stuff to do between shopping, Craftcation is all about the classes and the events. You are here to learn, to make stuff, to socialize with other makers, and there's a bit of shopping you can do on the side if you want. I don't think there was even an option to attend just one day of this. It was all 5 or nothing. And once you pay that overall price, that's it. All of the workshops are included, all of the events are included. So again, to compare it to So Expo, just because that's the most recent thing that I attended, there you paid your base ticket price and then you had to pay separately for every single class that you attended, and those prices went up depending on how long the class was. And then you often had to also pay in cash a kit fee to the teacher when you arrived at the class. So like those costs are all lower, but they do add up. And for me, because I was paying for each class separately, it was very much like, do I really want to go to this class? With Craftcation, you have those main 11 slots where you can sign up for any workshop that you want that's available during that time at no extra charge. That's all included, supplies and everything. And that's not even taking into consideration all of the like extra slots, the beach yoga, the Zumba. There were like counseling, like one-on-one meetings you could have with the business people, and then of course all of the events, the fashion show and the competition and wanderings and all that. So actually, even if I just divide the $700 I paid, which is quite a lot, by the 11 workshops and don't count any of the free gifts or the extra events or any of that, it comes out to like $64 per workshop, which is a fairly normal fee. At Remainders, classes are like $30, $35, but that is because they're using donated supplies for those classes. So you're essentially only paying like the teacher fee and the use of the building, you know, so you're not really having to pay for the supplies. But at the same time, I do recognize that, especially with the addition of travel fees, that's not exactly an affordable price for everyone. Fair? Yes, I think so, but affordable? Maybe not. I gotta say though, one thing I extra appreciated on top of everything else this event had to offer was how purposely and specifically they made sure that everyone would feel welcome and included and wanted. They were loudly and proudly a safe space, and that was reflected in the attendees and in the general spirit of joy and friendship that you could feel everywhere. As an extreme introvert who doesn't get out much, I am pretty exhausted from the whole thing, but y'all, it was a pretty cool event. So, have you ever heard of Craftcation? Have you ever been to Craftcation? Were you right there beside me and we didn't realize, or we did realize and we had a nice chat? It was really nice to meet some of you. Have you ever heard of anything else kind of like Craftcation? I'd be fascinated to hear about it, and I'm sure others would too, so if you have, please do share. And thank you for keeping me company on this adventure. Ah, there's a mosquito. I can hear you, but I can't see you. Where is it, puppy? Can you find it? Oh, it's literally right there. Hi, hi. Ah. I got it. Ha! You want to eat the mosquito? That's gross. Don't do that. Hello. I'm getting better at mosquito killing. Was that exciting? He definitely got me before he left.